פרשת כי תבוא ערב ראש השנה. The שיעורים of ספר דברים and the ימים טובים were sponsored by Shlomo and Chava Sesen. I want to wish them ברכה והצלחה and נחת from all their children, from Ralph, Amy, and the new baby Yosef. We should have a lot of nachat from them, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will bless them bebreut eitana, parnasa b'shefa, and nachat from their children. Erev Rosh Hashanah, we are going to blow the shofar, and the Torah says in Sefer Bamidbar in Parashat Pinchas, ובחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש, נקרא קודש יהיה לכם, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, יום תרועה יהיה לכם. What is יום תרועה? It shall be a day of shofar sounding for you. This expression to Rosh Hashanah, to have a Yom Teruah, is the whole day, you blow shofar the whole day? Asks the Tzlach in Masechet Chagiga, in Daf Yudalef. Is it the whole day we blow the shofar? From the Torah, the whole blowing has to take around 2-3 minutes, because according to the Torah, you have to blow only 9 voices. So the Torah should have used another expression. The Torah should have said, ובחודש השביעי באחד לחודש, הריעו. What is Yom Teruah? Should blow. On the first day, you should blow. What is the day of blowing? We have other Yamim Tovim, for instance, Sukkot. So on Sukkot, you are taking Lulav. So you don't say the day of Lulav. And here the Pasuk says, a day of shofar sounding for you. So we have several explanations brought. I'll tell you one of them is that Targum translate Yom Teruah, Yom Yevava. Yevava means a day of like crying. Means to say it's a serious day. It's a day of fear. And the fear from Borei Olam is really the whole day. Another explanation was said by Rabbi Mirsky Derasha, and he said that the shofar has a purpose. One of the purposes is to wake up the people to do teshuvah. So Rosh Hashanah, the whole day, is a day of teshuvah. Or we can go a little bit further in another explanation to explain what is the Yom Teruah. One of the purposes of blowing shofar is to a symbol of anointing Borei Olam as the king. And the making Borei Olam as a king is not only in the period of time of the blowing. Means you have to show that Borei Olam is the king. And how you show that he is the king? That you accept and follow his rules. So this is taking place the whole day of Rosh Hashanah. And here we are coming to the Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara says there, Tanya, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rabbi Akiva. מפני מה אמרה תורה, הביאו עומר בפסח. Why you should bring עומר on חג הפסח? Says the Gemara, מפני שפסח זמן התבואה הוא. This is the time that you cut the harvest. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, הביאו לפני עומר בפסח, כדי שתתברך לכם תבואה שבשדות. You will get a blessing. You will get a reward for this. And says the Gemara, מפני מה אמרה תורה, הביאו לפני שתי הלחם בעצרת. Why to bring the two loaves on חג שבועות? Says the Gemara, כדי שתתברכו לכם פירות האילן. A reward. The fruits will be blessed. And why you are making Nisuch HaMayim on Sukkot? In order that Borei Olam will give us a blessing with the rain. And then the Gemara adds, ואמרו לפניי בראש השנה מלכויות, זיכרונות ושופרות. מלכויות כדי שתמליכוני עליכם. מלכויות, in order that you will anoint me as a king. זיכרונות, כדי שיעלה זיכרונכם לפניי לטובה. ובמה? בשופר. Means blowing the shofar, explains the Ritva, refers to all the things which is mentioned. Blow the shofar for remembering Akedat Yitzchak, Zichronchem, your memory will come in front of me to the favorite, and anoint me as a king. Zichronot, the Torah said, the reward. You will make Zichronot, you will say Zichronot, the psukim of Zichronot, and you will blow the shofar. Your memory will come in front of me for the good. But what reward you will get when you blow shofar and anoint Borei Olam as the king? But the Gemara just said, Malchuyot כדי שתמליכוני עליכם, make me as a king. And what the reward you are getting for this? What segula you have here? The Gemara didn't reveal us. We mentioned, Gemara, the Ritva, that blowing shofar refers also to Malchuyot, to anoint Borei Olam as the king. And this was really the way in those days, and also nowadays, that when you anoint a king, you blow the shofar. We see the pasuk in Sefer Melachim, in Perek Aleph, when they anoint Shlomo to be the king. The pasuk says, ויקח צדוק הכהן את קרן השמן מן האוהל, וימשח את שלמה, he anoint him with the oil, ויתקעו בשופר, they blow the shofar, ויאמרו כל העם יחי המלך. So blowing shofar is a symbol of anointing a king. And also nowadays in Eretz Israel, when you elect a president, beside the trumpets that came from a different side, from different nations, they are blowing also the shofar. And we know that this is the perek that we are saying before תקיעת שופר, למנצח לבני קורח מזמור. And the pasuk says there, הריעו לאלוקים בכל רינה, כי עמוני עליון נורא, מלך גדול על כל הארץ. הריעו, blow the shofar. So we see here that blowing the shofar is a symbol of anointing Borei Olam. And really, there is a machloket among the Rishonim. What is the main mitzvah with the shofar? Is the mitzvah is to hear the shofar? This is the opinion of the majority of the Mefarshim. And Rabbeinu Tam says, Rabbeinu Tam is being brought in the Rosh. Rabbeinu Tam says that the mitzvah is to blow the shofar. And we have to understand what is the argument here between Rabbeinu Tam and all the other Rishonim. Maybe we can say that other Rishonim, let us say the Rambam says the mitzvah is to hear the blowing. As the Rambam says, אף על פי שתקיעה בראש השנה גזירת הכתוב, but there is a hint here, עורו ישנים משנתכם, ונרדמים הקיצו מתרדמתכם, ושובו אל עמוני, חזרו בתשובה. Means to say that the purpose of blowing is to wake up the person to do teshuvah. According to the Rambam, we can understand, see clear that the purpose of blowing shofar is to hear the blowing, to wake up. Maybe we can say that according to Rabbeinu Tam, that the mitzvah is the blowing, because Rabbeinu Tam holds that the idea of blowing the shofar is anointing Borei Olam as the king. And the main thing is the blow. And now we have to understand something that bothers. We saw that Rosh Hashanah is the day that we blow shofar, we anoint Borei Olam as the king. But from the other hand, for Rosh Hashanah, we see is Yom Hadin, the day that Borei Olam judges the whole world, Am Israel and all the nations. On one hand, these two things contradict one the other, because a day of anointing is a day of happiness. It's a day of simcha. It's a day that you're making big feasts. A day of judgment is a day of seriousness. And sometimes people are crying in the time that they are being judged. So why these two things are coming together in the same day? Day of anointing Borei Olam and the day of judgment. The Meiri already felt with this question, and he said that there is no contradiction. And he says that one of the symbols of a king, when you anoint a king, in those days, the king was also the judge. So judgment is also a part of anointing Borei Olam as the king. But we can say a little bit deeper why these two things are coming together. And this we are learning from the story, what happened when they anoint Shlomo and what happened before Shlomo was anointing as a king. David HaMelech, this is written in the beginning of Sefer Melachim. David HaMelech is very sick. He is an old person. David had a lot of children. One of the wives of David was Bathsheba. David promised Bathsheba that her son Shlomo, he will continue his kingdom. He will be the king after him. And he swore to Bathsheba. While David HaMelech was sick, another son of David from another wife, Adoniah ben Chagit, took advantage that the king is old. He gathered some important people and he decided that he would be the king. And the pasuk says, "V'Adoniah ben Chagit mitnaseh leimor ani emloch." And he took the group of people, and they said to him, "Yechi hamelech Adoniah." Natan Hanavi heard it. Immediately he ran to Bathsheba, and he said to her, "You must do something quickly. Go immediately to the king, to David, and tell him that Adoniah made himself as a king, and a lot of people are joining him, and he's going now to make a big feast in one of the biggest halls in those days." And he told her, "You go to the king and tell him that you swear to me that Shlomo will be the king, and I will come also to help you." Bathsheba came to the king, and he told it to her. He told him, "You promised me, and now see what happened. You told me, you promised me. Shlomo bnech yeshev al kis'i. You promised me." So David said, "It is true, I promised you, and I'm going to fulfill my promise. Immediately, David called Sadok HaKohen, and he said also to Natan Hanavi and Benayahu ben Yehoyada, all these three, and he gave them an order, go anoint Shlomo as a king, and blow the shofar, and say, Yechi HaMelech Shlomo. Not only this, he said, take my mule and put Shlomo on the mule and go in the streets, and people will say, Yechi HaMelech Shlomo. At that period of time, that Sadok HaKohen, Natan HaNavi, and Benayahu ben Yehoyada, they are doing what David said. A lot of people were walking in the street, and they clapped their hands. At that period of time, in the hall, there is another party of Adoniah, with his group of people. And they heard a blow of shofar on the street. And people are walking and clapping, and there is noise. They took out their heads from the windows, and they saw there is a different king. David anointed Shlomo as the king. David, the king, anointed Shlomo. And if they are joining Adoniah, they rebel against David HaMelech. And also Adoniah now is considered as a rebellion. So all the people that were in the hall, they ran away and disappeared. Adoniah, he saw that nobody is with him, and he's a rebellion, and he can be killed any minute. So what did he do? He ran away into the Mishkan, and he was holding in the poles of the Mizbeach, or Karnot HaMizbeach, maybe it's not the poles, in Karnot HaMizbeach, and there is a rule. Every person that is in the Mishkan and he holds Karnot HaMizbeach, nobody can touch him. So he is safe now. And then he understood that he will not be able to stay in the Mishkan a long time. So Adoniah sent a message to Shlomo. And he is saying to Shlomo, and this is the word that he is saying to Shlomo, Yishavali kayom hamelech Shlomo im yamit et avdo becharev. He said to the people, go and say to Shlomo that he should swear to me today if he will kill me. And Shlomo heard it. He said, if he will be a good man, אם יהיה לבן חיל, לא ייפול משערת ראשו ארצה. I will not do to him anything. But You have to understand, Adoniah is talking now to whom? He sent a message to whom? Not to a son of David, to a king, because Shlomo now is the king. And he's giving him conditions to the king. Yishava li hamelech kayom, yishava li kayom hamelech. Today he has to swear to me. What are you to say to him today? He can do it whenever he wants. He explained the Malbim here, an explanation. What is kayom? And he says, there was a rule in those days, and also nowadays in several countries. The day that a person becomes a king, he is going above the law. This is called the presidential pardon. He sent away out the people who rebels, the rebellious, out of jail. And therefore, said Adoniah to the king, Yishava li hamelech kayom hazeh. Today I want. Because today, only today, the day of anointing, the king judges above the law. He's using the presidential pardon only in this day. Next day, everything has to be judged according to the book of law. This, what Borei Olam did on Rosh Hashanah. He took the day of anointing and combined it with the day of judgment. Because today, the day of judgment, together with the day of anointing, it's a good day for Am Yisrael to be judged. Because today, the day of anointing, Borei Olam is using the presidential pardon. Therefore, what Borei Olam did, he combined these two events together, the day of judgment and the day of anointing, because he wants to favor Am Yisrael. For the good of Am Yisrael, he did it, to help Am Yisrael to be judged to the favorite on the day of Rosh Hashanah. Let's hope that Bezrat Hashem, Borei Olam will judge us this year for the favorite, and he will bring Geula to the whole nation, for everyone, wherever he is, and he will sign us the Chaim Tovim. Shabbat Shalom.